you're the only one here. Not the only one here. I'm the only one that knows how to use the thing.
You're making a video. I can do it.
It's right. It's in the.
I think I saw a dove downstairs. If you turn,
Yeah, it's already set up. It's good to go.
you don't even you don't do it.
Well, I set it up, so right now it's live. Like it's running right now. The only thing I need to do is set it off and make sure it goes on YouTube.
Okay.
If those here, great.
I saw him downstairs, but he's coming up and up. If I remember correctly, you sliding
Yeah.
to the right.
And there's two check boxes that you want to mark off. They need to be checked off. It basically helps it. That takes it and puts it onto YouTube. So that you have it.
And then leave it?
Yeah. Rabbi's kind of good each year.
All right. Morning.
Morning, Gary. How are you?
Sure. Morning. Morning.
much schnapps in the morning.
Say again?
Too much schnapps in the morning.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Whatever you get through the day. What?
I said I didn't know there was such a thing.
Been doing it for a long time. You have to travel to Yemen every day. It's a little bit.
Okay. Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Got to tell everybody else that the Shiur's back in session. I know we were off for 2 weeks, but now we're back, and we're in for the long winter now. Said Hanukkah's over. The light of Hanukkah has to take us until you get the Purim. All right, a little Tu B'Shvat maybe. That's like a mini stop.
Fresh in the mail.
Oh, the cards? I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I was thinking.
All right, we have more cards. I had to go to Lakewood to get these cards. So we have more. We'll can't pass them out after. I think everybody has here already. So. When I say I went to Lakewood for it, I actually went to Lakewood for it.
Mine's falling apart.
Well, it's a longer story than just the box. Anyway, just as a point for those who missed the past 2 weeks and they were saddened that there was no chabur. I know everybody likes to see my face. I know.
Yes, definitely.
I know. I understand. So if you want to see my face, they're all on. Most of them are on YouTube on the Aish Kodesh live stream channel, and every chabur since the beginning is on Spotify, Apple, 24/6 now. If you know 24/6, so they're all there, and it's very important to chazer over, to review. Right? It's not about what's new; it's about downloading what's old and really getting it into the system. It's very, very important, and hearing things again and again, even the same old things. They're not really old until you've truly downloaded it, and we're still in the downloading process, so it takes time. Like we said once, that the download speed of bitachon and anything that goes to the pneumius is like the old dial-ups, right? When you're trying to download even one graphic, in I don't know the year 1995. If you're trying to download one graphic, it took like 15 minutes. A video took like 15 days. So that's the download speed of bitachon. Anything that goes to the pneumius internally, if you want to make it a change. One point of show and tell. I will show you what came out. So this edition that we use, right, there's many editions. Chovos HaLevavos was written 1,000 years ago in Arabic and was translated into Hebrew. There's many English editions. There's the Art Scroll edition. We have the Kahos, the Chabad edition, and they've really been working very hard to continually put out content for bitachon to keep people, if our 80 shiurim is not enough, there's more. They just put out My Bitachon Journal. I saw this. Now, it's made for kids. You could see inside. It doesn't really matter because we're all kids. And for people who like to do workbooks. Not everybody likes that. Right? Some people are workbook people, some people are not workbook people. Sometimes parents will be there with the children, sometimes parents will not. If you're a workbook person, or you would deal with your children in work, you understand what I'm saying. To be a workbook type person, it's very, very nice. It's kedai to work on bitachon with the kids or yourself in a real way. So take a look at it afterwards. You can get it on Amazon or like that. What? It's cost. Yeah, it's the same. You can see it's like the same cover.
Same cover.
Come on, just for kids. All right. They're probably going to come out with like an adult version as well, I assume. Okay.
Yirmi, question.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
If you have the 7 tlunos of Hashem, like 7 qualities,
Yeah.
and you just go over that over and over and over and over and machshavas and try to apply in your mind, and if you just do that, shouldn't that be enough rather than anything else?
Everything that we're saying in this sefer, after the first parak or 2 is all the 7 yisodos. Right. After that, he's now slowly, carefully, with sometimes psukim and other things, he's drawing those yisodos into all types of situations of daily life.
Okay, so but if Lu Yitzu, you were a person.
Yes.
Who could do that.
You could. Yeah.
Who could, not me, but
yes.
who could do that.
Yeah.
That would be enough.
Sure. We're just benefiting from the sefer because he did it for us. We're still trying to add a little bit more, and we're going to add some more right now. But yeah, and that's the point. So with that, Hakdama, from Moshe, we're going to talk about the 7 yisodos. So I figured we were off for 2 weeks. Let's chazer over, because that's the point here. We're going to review over, and then we're going to bring us into the sugya that we're dealing with, which is the specific sugya of, who knows what we're up to?
157.
Yeah, numbers, yeah. Which sugya we're up to, see if you don't remember. Dealing with people, right? Bitachon when we're dealing with people. Right? It's very, very important. So let's go over the bitachon meditation that we should be doing every day. And we have the cards. If anyone doesn't have a card afterwards, these are excellent, excellent cards that were made. So let's go through the 7. Number 1, there's many different ways to say it, and it's Kedai to look into the Sefer itself in the beginning. Hashem, see, we're already after Hashem created the world. We're already after a emunah, right? God created the world. There is a God, and He created the world. We're after that. That's already a given. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves each and every one of us. He's compassionate towards us, and He wants what's best for us. One who truly loves another wants what's best for them. Number 2, HaKadosh Baruch Hu always finishes the job He starts. If it takes 22 years and a Yosef HaTzadik to go all the way down for 22 years away from his father, eventually the Tachlis will be reached. There was many points upon the journey that Yosef needed to work on, but eventually he became the Viceroy, the second in command, and was able to feed his family during the famine. That was one of the purposes that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had in mind, but it was a whole 22-year process. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu always finishes the job. So He wants what's best for us, He loves us, and He takes care of the job. Number 3, He's the Almighty. He's the All-Powerful. Nobody is more powerful than Him. No one even equals even close to Him. Right? Never to be nervous that someone is powerful, more powerful than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No such thing. The Yetzer Hara only works for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's just right? He's a worker. He's a messenger of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We don't like to meet him. We don't like to meet them Samech men, but they're messengers of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Number 4, He's all-knowing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows even your deepest thoughts. He knows your deepest issues. Don't tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or don't be nervous that He doesn't know what I'm going through. Yes, He does. He's the one who was there with you the whole time. He put you through and He's there with you. So a person, Lo Aleinu, is going through something very difficult. Person shouldn't say, well, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if He wouldn't know what triggers me, He wouldn't do this. No, He would, because He knows that you have to overcome this, and He's dafka giving this to you. So stay calm and work on it. He's all-knowing. Number 5, He's always been taking care of each and every one of us. Since before we're born, from the time we're born, as a little child, even though, yes, we have parents and we have friends, but ultimately, we know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who's guiding everything until today. So He knows us better than anybody else, right? And therefore, He knows how to guide us better than anybody else. Number 6, only HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes decisions in this world. Nobody else can ever, there's no exceptions. There are no exceptions to these rules. Everything else in life has an exception. When you get to halacha, there's always exceptions. Everything's exceptions. But when you get to the foundations of emunah and bitachon, there are no exceptions. There's no such thing. The problem is when you think there's an exception, that's where your emunah and bitachon go out the window. That's where you're fearful. That's where you're nervous. But there's no exceptions to the rules of God. It can't be. If you believe. Only Hashem makes decisions. Nobody else ever can make a decision. As we have to go this, we don't want to go this way, but we have to go. As horrific as it may be, only Kodesh Baruch Hu makes the decision. That does not mean that the people who did that which is horrific they're pater, they're exempt. No, they're going to pay for what they have to do. There was a bechira, and they might have to die for what they did or punished. But Kodesh Baruch Hu is the one ultimately makes the decision. 7, the last one, even if a person feels unworthy of a Kodesh Baruch Hu's love, that's not true. It doesn't matter what you feel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu always, without exception, always will still do the best for you in whichever way He sees fit, not based on your expectations or your wants or your desires. Based on the way He sees fit, He will always do what's best for you, and therefore you can always trust in Him. Doesn't matter if you're in the lowest pit in the world. Doesn't matter if you think you're the worst person in the world. The yesod of bitachon is HaKadosh Baruch Hu will still do what's best for you, and therefore you can still trust in Him that He will do what's best for you. It might mean needing a little bit of a patch. It might mean that. But it's still what's best for you. So you can always trust Him. These are the foundations of bitachon. We have to go over them again and again in our head before any situation arises. When a situation arises, if you're able to. Sometimes when the situation arises, you're so emotionally taken, you're in so much turmoil, you're not able to. That's why we're trying to prepare now. Because every day, part of your daily avodas Hashem, besides davening, should be to go over these 7. We have ani mamins, and then we have, ani maftichim, whatever you say. I have trusts, right? We have ani mamins, and then we have the 7 I trusts. We should make that a thing. And every day, if you say the ani mamins, then you say these. Now, These would take longer, yeah.
They
Because it's real. It's getting into the heart. Not that Emunah is not real. Emunah is in the head. It's much quicker. Emunah doesn't challenge you as much as a bitachon does. Emunah is 1.0. Bitachon is 2.0. But this is really what to do again and again and again. You get this, and you can live with this. You will live a life of tranquility, a life of calm, which is the same thing. Serenity, it's all the same thing. Happiness, no matter what's going on. No matter what's going on. Whether things are really, really good, you'll be able to live and appreciate all that which is good because you're trusting that it's a Kodesh Baruch Hu who did that for you. Right? You could have, right? If a guy, we've discussed this, if a guy makes $1 million, but he was expecting 1.1 million, so yeah, he's happy, but he's not as happy as he could be. Right? He didn't make the 1.1 which he was expecting, which is crazy, right? But if you trust in a Kodesh Baruch Hu, that he's the one who decides everything, so yeah, I was expecting 1.1, but that's not what God wanted, and this is the best for me. There's nothing holding you back from the pure simcha. That's going on one end. And then if we have to go the other way, if we don't want to, but if it's in a way that's hard for us, right, difficult, hopefully not tragic, but there's a lot of difficulties that are not tragic. Most of our lives are dealt with just difficulties, not tragedies. And with the difficulties, most people are like, I can't what's happening to me, what's going to be, why me again, and all this stuff that works us up, and then we become depressed or lazy or anxious or worried or fearful, and then we act out upon other people, and we just get crazy. Bitachon says, trust that there's a Borei Olam who loves you, who's taking care of you, who's doing this. He's the only one who could do this. He's doing this for your best. Again, you know what? Maybe this is for my best. Maybe, right? Then you start to open up. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I do need a little bit of a readjustment. I go to the chiropractor once in a while for a readjustment for my back. So maybe I need a readjustment in my life also. Why is that so crazy? Right? Right? Bitachon says, it's okay that you're not perfect. You're not perfect. And it's okay you're not perfect. Because you trust that a Kodesh Baruch Hu made you imperfect. Great. Some people want to be perfect, and that's what plagues them. Kodesh Baruch Hu says, you don't have to be perfect. I didn't make anybody perfect. There's no such thing. That's okay. Okay.
I mean, it's hard if you see somebody that you love suffering.
Sure. And there's an ability with Bitachon to trust that this is for their best, but I'm still sad that this person has to go through it. When you have Bitachon properly aligned, you can properly have the emotions, the healthiest emotions, without losing yourself. I'm just saying. Lo Alen, you have a loved one who's going through real difficulties. Whatever the difficulty is, really painful. A child, a spouse. So A, you can't become totally depressed from that. B, you can't be totally insensitive to that. But we have to be aligned. I trust that a Kodesh Baruch Hu is doing this to this person. It's for their best. I will be there for them as much as I can be there for them. I feel their pain. We want to be empathetic, sympathetic. It's a big sugya in and of itself. And therefore you can be with that person. Batsara. Like a Kodesh Baruch Hu is Imo Anochi Batsara. So we can also be there. But it doesn't mean we have to become depressed, miyayish, hopeless. Right? That's antithesis of bitach. But everything, that's why, to just go through the 7 in your head again and again and again and again it can work, but it's hard to then apply it to every situation unless you think about every situation and try to apply it either in your head or in real life and go through the motions and try to understand and make mistakes and then come back to the drawing board and say, where did I make that mistake in bitachon? And then work through it or discuss it with somebody. Sometimes it's hard for us. We get emotional. When you get emotional, right, we discuss, you become very, very narrow. When you become narrow, you can't think straight. So sometimes you need to discuss it with somebody else who's not in that situation, who's in the bitachon situation, and you can go back and forth and to explain it, to talk it out, and to see where you went wrong. This is not rocket science. But it does take certain understandings, certain emotional freedom. So that means if you can't do it yourself, have somebody else help you. But you want to be on the same page. It'd be tough. Okay. That was review number 1. Now we're going to try to bring it in to where we're holding. Social situations, dealing with a spouse, children, family and friends, relatives, the ones you like and the ones you don't like, The ones you had to meet at the Hanukkah parties this past week? Yep, those, yep. We should have had this, I guess, beforehand. We could have dealt with that. It could be Rabbanim. It could be anybody you have to deal with. Okay. So, this becomes a very difficult situation. How to properly work on bitachon when we're dealing with other people, right? If we're living on an island, right? You can buy an island nowadays, and there was animals there, nice ones, and there were trees, and there was, watering and planting, all that stuff. Nobody's there, and you have to trust in the Kodesh Baruch Hu for it to rain. You have to trust in the Kodesh Baruch Hu that you'll be able to properly cultivate the crops and agriculture, whatever. Some people, you'll be able to do it. But once you put one person on that island, 2 people, 3 people, it becomes very, very difficult. Once you deal with a person, people have opinions, people get under your skin, right? People have bechira, to learn what that means, right? People can make choices. Now it becomes very, very difficult to see that only Kodesh Baruch Hu is running the situation when this person is talking back to you or being disrespectful. When this person is doing something you don't like. Mean. Very, very hard. I'll just go through a list of different situations here. Their wants, whoever they is, right? They could be a spouse, a child, a friend, whoever it is. Their wants and needs can bother, frustrate, and stress you out. And we can then become angry at them. Their words and actions can harm us and make us feel bad, insignificant, in pain. Their lack of gratitude, right? You help somebody else out, whoever that is. It could be a spouse, a child, a friend. Their lack of gratitude can irritate us and make us resentful. Anybody ever go through any of these things right, so far?
Never.
Nobody here, right? Okay, good, Baruch Hashem. The time spent on them may feel like a waste, and it prevents me from doing what I want to do. Their bad midos, choices which are against Torah and mitzvahs, can weigh heavily on my heart, can make me feel insignificant and I'm doing a bad job. Right? All of these situations, and there's many, many more, but these are situations where we are dealing with other people, spouse, children, family, friends, and how they affect us. Now, when a person is getting bothered, frustrated, or stressed out, angry at other people, when a person is feeling bad, he's feeling harmed, he's feeling insignificant because of what people said, when a person starts to be resentful against another person, when you feel like you're bothered that you're wasting your time with this person, or you're feeling bad, very general, but we're feeling bad that we're feeling responsible because a child or somebody else is not going in the way of Torah and mitzvahs. Right? When you feel, isn't that kfirah? Well, don't we believe that a Kodesh Baruch Hu runs the world? Doesn't a Kodesh Baruch Hu, we just went through the 7. Doesn't a Kodesh Baruch Hu decide everybody's actions? Isn't he the only one who can make something happen? Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't he, I know, 1 second. Let me build it up. Isn't he the Almighty, the All-Knowing? Doesn't he know what's best for me? So even if a person is bothering me, isn't it for my best? Right? Why is it that when it comes sometimes to the monetary bitachon, we get it. Kodesh Baruch Hu decides when the paycheck comes in. He decides how much, how little. The stock market goes down, it's him. The rates go up, it's him. Gas prices go up, we know, right? America runs on a few things, right? The gas prices go up, it's him. We're working on that. We're working on that. Not easy, but we get it. When it comes to other people, for some, they just lose themselves. See, there's two different major sugyas. There's many major ramifications of bitachon. You have the monetary, and you have the social. The monetary and the health go in one category, we'll say, and the social goes in another category. So the monetary and health we worked on for a long, long time. For some people, that's very, very, very difficult. When you get to social situations, sometimes it's easier for them. And then you have the people the opposite. You have people who, with the social, they cannot deal with other people. When it comes to monetary, Hashem's going to help. Right? Now, just to go back for a minute, we're not going to deal with it at length, but just to remind ourselves, when it comes to, let's say, the monetary situations, so a person is anxious, he's worried, right? What's going to be? The money, the bank account, with all the stuff. Let's break it down for 1 second. This is, every sugya really has a lot, but we're just going to give one. You can't yell at me. I'm giving you one example of where this person's worry is coming from. Okay? It might not apply to you, but I just want to deal with one because it is a prevalent one, something that we have to think about again and again. It's not the topic of today, but it's something that I just want to bring about because we have to continually have our heads in these sugyas. You have a person who's right now, 9:33. He's thinking about a futuristic negative event. I have a bill coming in, this big meeting coming in, money, whatever. Oy vey, what's going to be? I don't know if it's going to go okay. It looks bleak. So he's living right now. He's thinking about a futuristic event, which he does not know truly what will happen, because you're not there. So he's thinking, again, he's right now thinking about a futuristic event, which to him is negative, because his confusions and his doubts, he doesn't know. He has already pre-programmed himself to go negative, right? You could be doubt and go positive, right? It's funny, the word doubt has a negative connotation. Doubt just doesn't mean, I don't know, you don't know. But doubt, therefore, it's going to be negative. And then what happens, now you bring, right? So my mind, I'm sitting here, and my mind goes out to the future, a week, a month, a year, whatever it is. It could be 10 years. That's the worst. That's a lot of doubts, right? What's going to be then? Oy vey, what's going to be? What's going to be? And then when the thought comes back, right? Because you sent your brain out, right? Now when it comes back to your head, what do you feel right now? What do you feel? Anxious, worried, fearful. You're living in a now. You sent your mind out. Again, it could be 10 years. You sent your mind out very far. Now it could be a day, a week, a month. And now your response now, the way you feel now, is based on that. Right? Is that with bitachon or not with bitachon? Where does bitachon help in this situation? Well, how do we, again, this is not the main topic, but this is, where does bitachon fit into this? This is a regular daily occurrence by many, many people. This is happening to a person. Now he's at least zocha to know what's going on. Most people don't even know what's going on. It just happens automatically, right? They're automatically just feeling anxious. What's going to be? They don't even realize what it's about. But let's say we could slow things down, right? We put your brain on a screen. We see what's going on. You're sending the thoughts out, and it's coming back into your brain now. And then your emotional reaction now, which is crazy because it's a futuristic event. So where do we put bitachon in?
First of all, you say Meis Hashem Haisos.
What?
First of all, you say it's from Hashem.
What's from Hashem?
Everything that my worry right now, that's not where I want to go.
Okay. I just want to be clear. It's a very important use. You could save yourself a lot of stress.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in charge of everything that's happening. Everything that's happening.
It's a good start.
So it's irrelevant what I think is going to happen about an event. God knows how long out? Tomorrow or in 5 minutes or 10 minutes from now. So Kodesh Baruch Hu runs the world. He's in charge of me. He loves me. Compassion comes from him. There's nothing that can happen to me without him. No matter how go right. I mean, if I were aware enough, I would immediately go into the 7. I would work as hard as I could to just drown myself in the 7 principles that we have.
And where would you drown yourself in those principles? Where, in that, remember we put our brain on a screen?
Yeah, no, so
Where are you putting it?
I'm putting it as close and in front and inside of me as I can.
Okay, so let's
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's a diversion. It's to get myself off that track that I'm now in, which I don't want to be in, and get myself back into the track, knowing that these 7 qualities are true, and then, I mean, re-brainwash myself into a place that I'm comfortable with, and know is good for me, and
Okay.
just go there.
So if we could do this, number one, he mentioned, you first have to be aware. Right? This is one of the biggest problems. People are just not aware of their emotional standings. If you don't even know where you are, you will just be emotional. Now, the brain's working. Believe me, it's working. It's creating that emotion, but you have no idea what you're holding. So you're just going to stay in this loop, never-ending loop, until something changes. Now, so step 1, what we're learning in Bitachon is stop. Stop. Emotions second. Thinking first. Now, of course, you'll get emotion. That should trigger us. Let's learn to trigger ourselves to stop. Once you start getting caught in an emotion, a loop, take a deep breath. We forget to breathe. When you're in the loops, you don't breathe. Emes, you don't breathe. You forget. You would go into that automatic breathing, which is like a very low level breathing. Just breathe. One breath can change your life. One breath. You don't need the fancy 642 programs. That's also good. I'm not making fun. That's also good. There's a lot of programs to do. Very, very good. But even just one breath. Into the nose, out through the mouth, like we've been taught. Deep. Okay. Right? That should just cleanse the emotion for a minute. But parenthetically, if someone's in a very serious danger right now, run. We're not talking about that. Now let's start thinking. Now that you're aware, you're conscious. Let's start thinking. First, get what's going on over here. Where are we getting lost? Because I'm worried about the deal, the money, the paycheck. I'm worried about how am I going to pay that bill, this bill. Now you know what we're dealing with here. 1 second. Right? When is that happening? Is it a week? Is it a month? When is that? It's a year from now? 2 years from now? Some things with Pashut logic, you could just take it away. I'm worrying about something for 5 years? Oh, that's just crazy. You don't need to be talking about that. That's craziness. I'm worrying about my kids' college education. They're 6 years old. Let's pull that back. We get lost in ourselves. But if it's something a little bit more normal, and it could be that also, I'm joking around, but it could be that also, let's start to utilize the 7 Yesodos of Bitachon. Whatever is going to happen in a month, in a year, it's from the Borei Olam. He's doing it because he loves me. One of the first things is, I don't have to understand what's going on. Let's get that clear. He's only the one who made the decision. So whatever is going to happen then, ultimately it's going to be okay. Because of the 7. Yeah, this is trust. You have to actually believe this. It doesn't just happen by saying it. To believe there really is a Borei Olam. That will take away 95% of the emotional reactions of a person that they go through in a regular life. There are certain tragedies that are high level that can blow away as much as you have. But that's also from Kodesh Baruch Hu. Yeah. Once you lose your mind in your emotions, you just sometimes have to wait till it passes through. Sometimes it's just nothing you can do. We're trying to prepare ourselves so we become less emotional, less frequent, less intense, to give ourselves the opportunity to become aware, conscious, to then breathe, cycle through, and then lower it a little bit more. But we're human beings. There are certain tests that a Kodesh Baruch Hu sends us, and sometimes he dafka blows us away with a tragedy, lo aleinu, because at the end of it, he wants us to have acquired, right? Whatever you can hold on to, whatever you could hold on to, even by a tragedy, you've now acquired, right? If you don't totally lose yourself and become a kofar, which we're not going to become, you've acquired a certain ability to handle even difficult things. Right? You lived through it. Yosef Atzadik, what did he acquire after those 22 years? He went through the worst. At the end of it all, when he came to this deep belief, what did he say to his brothers? HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted it all from the beginning. Do you think anything else in life could rattle this person, this tzaddik? What can rattle this? He did everything. And he made mistakes along the way, not for us to judge. But he was learning. And he stayed in that jail for an extra 2 years to the Sfarim, so he could think about all of these things. And the second he came to the full understanding that it's only a Kodesh Baruch Hu, mamish ein od movado, paracholin, para a dream. And then everything else, he got out of jail. He was already out of jail. In his mind, he was already out of jail. So once your mind's out of jail, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, hey, why do you have to be in that physical jail? Take you out. And then Yosef got out. And then he became the most powerful, and he was able to live out his life the way that Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted. Right? He is the Baal HaBitachon. That's why it comes by Chanukah time, with the Chashmonaim, as we discussed. So yes, there are certain times where it's very high level. That's okay. When you come out of it, we've got to review a little bit, see what you've acquired. But for most often, we really could deal with a lot of the little stresses that are at work, or with the kids, or with the wife, or the husband if you're a woman listening. There are many things that we can do. Just based on breathing, becoming aware, and trying to lock in the 7 Yesodas. True? If you've never done it, then you can't say it doesn't work. That would just be ridiculous. Try it. Try it. The very fact that a person could stop himself from that emotional loop to breathe already is something that 99% of people do not do and will help a person. Then to add emes, emuna, and bitachon, this is the most powerful tools in the world. We could prevent a lot of therapies and a lot of things with bitachon. Trusting that there's really, really a baril. Okay. Now, that wasn't even really what I wanted to speak about today. I mean, bitachon, yes, but not about the monetary. Really what I want to get to, I started now, is the social aspect. That's what really we're holding, right? We're becoming frustrated, bothered, angry, stressed. We're feeling bad. We're becoming irritated, resentful. We're feeling we're wasting our time. We're feeling responsible for somebody else's actions. So all of that is coming from two places. Two major places. Really, it's one place, but it's two places. Gaiva, but midos. I'm going to put that as one category. Whether it could be a person's gaiva, his desire for respect, his insecurities, which is one of the deepest sugyas in the psyche. Insecurity means a lack of bitachon, right? Because there's a bitachon of the self. The bitachon of the self-confidence, which people talk about. So by the non-from bitachon world, there's a way to build your self-confidence, however they talk about it. I don't even know. I don't even care. Because the true self-confidence comes because you have confidence in a Kodesh Baruch Hu. If you trust in a Borei Olam, in a Creator, truly, you trust in Him, for real. Well, He created me with all my milas and all my chesronos, with all my good points and all my bad points. He gave it to me all. He wants me to work on myself, but it's all from Him. That, not in 1 second, but over time, with the proper thinking, can fix up insecurities. Because what's an insecurity? It's a deep feeling of lacking. But I'm not lacking, because the Kodesh Baruch Hu created me this way. And that's my best. Again, it's the same types of thoughts again and again. You have to do it. It doesn't just happen. Not for me telling you, that's for sure. It's only if you do it for yourself. Or, right, the person's need for kavod and respect. Right? Why do we get angry at people for saying things to us? It's not respecting me. So you yell at the guy. He's wasting my time. So you get upset, you get frustrated, you get stressed. What's my time? Sounds like a little bit of something. There's always exceptions. Here we could have exceptions because we're talking about the self, not God. But it could be coming from the ego. Or how about a person's lack of gratitude? You help the guy out, a friend, a spouse. Could be dangerous. A child. They're not thanking me. They're not appreciating me. Where did that come from? Again, you're looking for some respect. You're looking for some appreciation. Where is that? Human, but not with bitachon. It's coming from a midos that we need to work on, which has become the Kabbalah of this generation. I always quote this. Revolvi said it used to be that people worked on their midos in public, and Kabbalah they learned in hiding. Now Kabbalah they're learning in public, and midos, maybe some people are learning it in hiding. Because midos, come on, that's for like babies, right? Midos is, you want to live a happy life, work on your midos. Everyone wants to live a happy life. Lav dafka, it's going to come from the Kabbalah or the Gemara. So one of the major reasons why we are very bothered by what other people do, the dealings with other people, is because of just midos that haven't been worked on. And the other major category is because we're lacking bitachon, trust. What's the trust here? Who are the people that I'm dealing with in my life? Anybody who I deal with, generally, we have to give them a different name. Whether it's a spouse, a child, a family, a friend, a rav, right? We're going to put them all in one group. Right? What do we give? What's their new name? Agents, messengers of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. That is bitachon 101. Where do I know? Because only a Kodesh Baruch Hu can make anything happen. Right? So if that's true, all the people who are saying what they're saying to me, demanding from me, whatever, can only be because a Kodesh Baruch Hu decided that's what should happen. That's what should happen. Sorry. Therefore, they're all agents of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. You get this, half your life changes. Now, that's step one. But this agent is he's saying not nice things. He's taking my time. He's bothering me. He has free choice. This is where it gets a little sticky. He has free choice, but he's also agent of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. How do we deal with that? So, one of the major ways to deal with this, we're saying a lot over here, it's Kedada, Chazar over, even this Chazar, because it's not Chazar, it's a lot of new stuff. When you have a person who's coming at you in whatever way and it's bothering you, we have to remember, besides that he's an agent, what is he an agent for? He's an agent, of course, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What's he an agent really, really for? What words do we put in there? We need words in our head. Because if we don't have words, we're going angry, we're going negative, we're going nefesh bahamas. So we need new words. First of all, he's a messenger. He's a messenger for what?
To teach you how to deal with it.
To make me a better person. To teach me how to deal with it, to make me a better person. It's for my best. Wasn't that a Yisod Bitachon? Kodesh Baruch Hu only sends us things for our best. This person is chewing my ear off. This kid is making me crazy. Well, maybe you have to work on your savlanas. Maybe you have to work on your emunah bitachon. Maybe you need to work on your gaiva and your ego. Maybe you need to work on it. You are embarrassed by your child in Gourmet Glad in aisle 6. They're throwing a tantrum because they want, the candy. And you get so angry at them. Yelling at them, stop, and really giving to them. Maybe, everybody's different. Maybe their screaming is triggering your insecurity of being a bad parent. You think you're a bad parent. This kid screaming is proving to your mind, again, it's all in the person. It's proving to you that you're actually a bad parent. What's that going to do to you? It's going to get you angry at the kid. It's the kid's fault. Actually, you have an insecurity, which can be dealt with. But it's your problem, not the kid's problem. Kids scream all the time. The other kid screaming doesn't bother you, right? So there's a lot going on over here. But bitachon opens us up to even thinking outside of that little box that we have for ourselves, which is, it's your fault, not me. Bitachon says, you're not perfect, it's okay. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending an agent for your best. Maybe, right? You have to breathe. How could this kid screaming and growing up, how could that be for my best? It has to be. I believe, I trust. So first of all, you can be calm. Again, this takes time. This is not 1 second. But it's okay to be calm in this situation. You don't have to yell at the kid. So he's throwing a tantrum. You may ask him to be quiet. We're not even, I want to say something. We're not dealing with hishtadlus here. We're dealing with bitachon. Bitachon means the emotional response based on the 7 yesodos. Correct? That's bitachon. We're not discussing hishtadlus yet. There is hishtadlus to do. You cannot do hishtadlus properly unless it's according to bitachon. We've discussed this. Because what's hishtadlus without bitachon? You yell at the kid or you potch him. That's hishtadlus. He's bothering you, you yell at him. You potch him. That's hishtadlus. It's inappropriate. I mean, there might be times where it's appropriate, but if you didn't think and it's just an emotional, angry reaction, it's not right. So first we need to lock ourselves into bitachon, dealing with other people. Breathing, setting yourself, remembering that there's an agent, they're an agent from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For our best, nobody can make any decisions without HaKadosh Baruch Hu allowing it. Even if a person lowly punches you in the face. And this is not from Shaar Habitachon, this is from the Sefer HaMitzvahs. Mitzvahs, Sefer HaChinuch. He says this. If a person punches you in the face, we're not talking about the punishment for that person. That's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about bitachon. What's your reaction? Between you and God. HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that person should punch you in the face.
Well, Mike Tyson had a statement. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah, he wasn't about bitachon. Maybe now he is. He got punched a few times also. So right now, we still have what to talk about. But this, working on bitachon, which can, it's not that it's different than the midos. Really, really what's happening is that a person's reactions are because of a lack of midos. I don't want to say the lack of midos is a lack of bitachon. I don't want to say anything exactly, but with bitachon, a person can fill up his chesronos and his midos. He can lower the ego because it's not about me; it's about because of Kodesh Baruch Hu's world. He can. What else did I have over here? He can fill up his insecurities. Kodesh Baruch Hu decides where I'm holding at every single moment. We haven't done this shadus yet. We'll get to there. Selfishness. That's a big one. Selfishness? It's the Kodesh Baruch Hu's world. It's not my world. The whole tachlis is to get to selflessness. Not to be a rag. That's one bad end. To be selfish is a bad end. To be selfless is a different story. It's called a nava, and it's a sugya. But to properly even get to these places, if you have bitachon, there's a Borei Olam, he created me. He created the situation. He created these events. He created these agents. Always for my best. Always, without any exception. Slowly but surely, we can fill ourselves with bitachon, and we can be calm and tranquil and happy through almost any situation. There will be situations that are above our pay scale. That's fine. That's also okay. But for the most of our life, we'll be able to put it into this program. After you set yourself as best as you can, again, we're humans, then you can do the proper hishtadlus. And sometimes the hishtadlus might be to patch the kid. It could be if you did something dangerous, I don't know. But it shouldn't be coming from anger. It should be coming from education. It should be coming because that's what a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants me to do. Because I'm also an agent for the child. The child is an agent for me, and I'm an agent for the child. So if you have a Kodesh Baruch Hu who's the head of all the agents at the top of the food pyramid, whatever, I don't know, at the bitachon pyramid, then you could start doing things that are proper. With that, I think next week is a show. You can. I mean, it kind of goes like this, and then it goes to like this.
Big Rebbe's coming.
If you never got a card yet, you need to have a card.
No,
Going
they're
Eretz Yisrael.
Oh, yeah.